How was your April? In this video, we're going to be chatting about the process for our monthly illustration for May, reflecting on my little break from making longer videos, and what I've learned from it. This might be a long one, so grab your sketchbook, a snack, maybe even a bev. My bev of the day is a nice cup of tea, which is very fitting for this video, but let's jump into it. Hello, my name is Jade, and I like to paint with pixels. We're back! Hello! How have y'all been? I hope you've been doing well. It's been a little while since my last video. Only 4 or so weeks, but honestly it feels both like it's been a lot longer and a lot shorter than that. I'm fully convinced time is a blob, but before I talk about what I've been up to in April, I thought it would be good to chat about what we're drawing today. So, we're already in May. Please refer back to my point about time being a blob. But even though the weather has been a bit iffy at times, it really feels like spring is sort of in full swing. And I was thinking about all the things that remind me of spring. I really wanted to spend some time planning out this piece before jumping straight into the drawing part that y'all are seeing now. So I decided to try something a little different and create a mood board with a free trial on Milano. My initial thoughts from trying it on one project is it's a pretty clean way to get all my thoughts down, both visual and written, all on one page. It's pretty good so far. The first thing I noted down was the sort of things that reminded me of May, and the two biggest ones were flowers and gardens. So I thought that the setting of a tea party would be a really nice place to set this drawing. I also thought about who was going to be in the piece and what sort of actions they would be doing. I normally only include one character in each of these illustrations, and I probably could have done the same here and made it so one person was setting the table or tidying things away from what would have been a tea party, but I really wanted to capture a more in-the-moment snippet of time, so this piece is a little bit more complicated than the others. So, in this piece we have Ferne, who is my bear character, Lulu the bunny, Lily the frog, and Daisy the bee. I didn't realize this until now, but they've each had their own drawing for the previous months, so it felt quite nice that this was one where they're all together. One of the nice things that I found that you could do on this website is add in color swatches to the board, so I tried to lay out some of the main colors that I wanted to use in the palette. I even brought in a color wheel too, so that I could find a pattern that I learned in one of my older videos and figure out what I wanted to use here. A warm green made a lot of sense because of the setting of a garden, and I thought that I wanted to do a complementary color scheme and add in some magenta for the flowers, but when I looked at the wheel, I realized that I could try a slightly more complex color scheme by using a more purpley purple? She hasn't quite got the names down for colors yet, but I guess a more blue purple for the flowers, and then a red for the strawberry themed treats on the table, and then it would be a nice sort of split complementary color scheme. Look at her using the learnings that she had from last month. After all of this, I did a couple sketches as well. I wanted to start with a few thumbnail sketches to try and figure out how I wanted everything to be arranged perspective-wise. I knew that there was a lot going on in the piece with so many characters, but I still wanted to have flowers be a part of the piece as well, mainly to frame everyone around the table. So I wanted it to look like Lily, the frog character, was holding the camera like just above a flower bush, so then I could play around with the detail of flowers closest to the camera in contrast to the flowers that are like further away in the background. And it took a couple of attempts, but I quite like how the final sketch turned out. Side note, I actually really like the design of the washi tape. It makes me want to see if I could make pixel flower washi tape in real life. Pixel art stationery is something that I've always wanted to try, but I've always been a bit nervous too because it feels like a niche, or a pretty niche art style in comparison to other stationery designs that I've seen, but maybe I'll try and make a small batch in the future at some point. But first I'll need to learn how to scale pixel art for printing, and also how to print the correct colors, because I'm already having trouble with colors on different screens looking different, but also setting up something to print is a completely different color mode to just having illustrations on the screen. So a lot to learn there, but it is something that I actually kind of want to learn soon because I would like to maybe print off some of my flower project pieces. But that is for future me to figure out. I also thought it would be good to do a quick value test and color test after my initial sketch. I'm still trying to get the hang of both parts of this process, but I am definitely seeing the value more, especially in more complex pieces like this. All pun intended. But because there's so many different elements going on, I didn't want each of those elements to blend into each other, so getting good values, super important. I also found a much more efficient method for checking values in a piece, which I will 100% be using in the future as well. So what I did was created a new layer over the top of everything. I filled that layer in with just pure black, and then changed the layer mode to saturation, and then you can just toggle the visibility of that one layer and you can sort of quickly check your values rather than doing what I was doing before, which was having the values layer be underneath and then directly editing that, but then I'd struggle to use the eyedrop tool and accidentally draw on either the color layer or draw on the values layer and then not notice until the very end. It was all super confusing, but now I think I found a good vibe for it. But hey, we're learning, and if you didn't know about this either, there's a fun little technique for y'all to try. I've been starting to steer away a little bit from my usual palette, and oddly, I found that greens are really hard for me to pick, especially while doing this color test. I would like to go eventually for a warmer palette because at the moment I'm using quite a lot of cool tones in mainly my greens and sort of reds, but it took me a good while to get the greens that felt right in this piece. And knowing me, I will absolutely change these over the course of the next few pieces as well, but eventually we'll get to something that I like. This color test was also really helpful in using it as a reference for picking out the colors that I needed when I was actually drawing the main piece, which is what you're watching now. And using that reference really helped cut down a lot of the time it took to draw this piece. So we'll have to see it. But that was a little whistle-stop tour of my process up until this drawing here. So now I thought it would be a good time to chat about what I've been up to over April. Where have I been? What have I learned? If you missed my last draw with me, I mentioned about taking a little break from making videos and just figuring out what I wanted to do, how best to move forward so that I could do all of the stuff that I wanted to do in terms of like my creative projects. At first, what that looked like for me was like really knuckling down with learning how to draw, getting the fundamentals down, and getting a bunch of ideas ready to then hit the ground running when I got back to making videos. And though I did do a bit of drawing during my time off, it wasn't as much as I thought I would do. And at first I was a little disappointed about that. But eventually I realized that maybe this wasn't the time to do that because that is the exact thing that got me feeling overwhelmed in the first place. And if I had just spent time coming up with ideas, that would have been great, but I think it would have felt like I had sort of just put a band-aid on the real issue that I was having, which was mainly around workloads and time management and sort of finding the right routines and structures to help me make videos and do creative projects in a sustainable way, along with all my other commitments. And just because I had given myself a bit more free time over the month of April did not mean I should just fill it with more work, because rest is really important, and actually trying to find that right balance for me turned into a really important goal for myself. So, here's some of the things I did to rest and take care of myself. The first thing was, this was a really social month for me. Like, I hung out with my friends a lot. I ran my D&D game in person, which was really fun and rewarding. We don't get to do it very often. It's sort of become like a yearly tradition, but it's so different to running a game online and running it in person, so I'm always really excited when we get to all be together in the same space, and that was very lovely. I also went to the Dimension 20 live show, which was, it was incredible. It was so good. I could do a whole video just about Dimension 20 and how wonderful they are, but you know when you see people who are really good at something, and it seems like they really enjoy it, and they do that thing that they're really good at, but live and in front of you, it's just, it's so cool. It feels really like I'm just fangirling, which I am, but like, it's such a cool moment that you don't get to experience very often. And the whole thing was also really inspiring for me to become a better storyteller in general, because that's something that I really want to do with a lot of my creative projects, and seeing people who are just incredible at improv and coming up with really fun and compelling stories on the fly was just, it was just really cool to see. I don't know, I'm being a nerd now. And this is all very unintentionally D&D related, and also sort of one-off activities. Like, I'm not going to see a live show every month, but I think that's fine. I think what stood out to me the most was how much better I felt after hanging out with friends, whether that be through fun events like this or just like an evening of playing games. I think I started to realize how much like energy I got and how much happier I felt after hanging out with friends, and that was the thing that the main takeaway for me. I've also been reading a lot more, both fiction and non-fiction. I actually got into a nice flow of reading a little bit before I go to bed, which I think is also helping me sleep a lot easier, or just like get to sleep a lot easier. It's been quite nice. I'm almost finished the Farseer trilogy, which is by Robin Hobb. Very much recommend, it's been very good. But if you have any fantasy book recommendations, let me know in the comments. I need new things to read. What else have I been doing? Oh, I've been trying to get back into exercising again, and just like daily movement, which for me it looks like mostly just walks and ring fit, but hey, that's a start, which I'm more than happy that I'm doing, because that's a big improvement from what I was doing before, which was next to nothing. But I've been really getting into Pokemon Go, which I know, very late to the party, but since I work from home, it's been really good for just getting me out of the house for just like a quick daily walk, so I'm very much enjoying that. Ooh, also a bonus from going on these walks, really good for problem solving and like figuring out ideas. I feel like I've come up with quite a few fun ideas for future projects just from going on walks, and that's been really exciting. I really hope to try them out and yeah, see where they go. With Ring Fit, I can't remember I think it had been a year since I had played it last, and I forgot how fun it is, and man, it will knock you out if you do it properly. Like, it is a proper workout, but yeah, I forgot how good of a workout it is. So I've been really enjoying that as well. I'm not gonna say that this has completely changed my life and I am no longer sad or stressed anymore, because that would just be hella unrealistic for me to say. I still have days and evenings where I don't feel great, and part of me initially thought when trying all of this that, like, why am I adding more stuff to do each day? How am I gonna carve out time to do the stuff that I actually want to do? At least like creatively. But I feel like now I have almost like a better tool set of things that I know will make me feel even a little bit better, and what sort of activities give me energy, and that's been probably the biggest takeaway from this break. It's definitely changed my thinking on what I need to focus on first, which is mainly probably one of my basic needs, like, have I eaten enough today? Have I gone outside? I realize have I drank water is such a biggie for me, which I miss out a lot, so reminder right now, pause the video, go get yourself some water, and come back. I will not be mad. Go stay hydrated. But when I have these things in order and I do some of the little things that, give me energy, it actually makes carving out time for things that I want to do, like drawing and YouTube and just any creative projects. It makes it a lot easier because I actually have more energy to do so. Which, in hindsight, feels really obvious to say, even when I was writing for this video, but sometimes we need a reminder for stuff like this, and that is completely okay. It's really all one big balancing act of doing what you need to do, doing what you want to do, and doing what you like to do. But when you start to find that balance, it feels pretty good. I have definitely missed making videos, which honestly I think is a good sign. But I also think it was right for me to take a little break when I needed it, because I've definitely gotten a lot from it, and even if it wasn't what I had initially expected. Speaking of videos, I think I'm gonna have to adjust my schedule a little bit to keep this being a sustainable thing for me to do. For May, I sort of want my videos to be themed around the big flower project that I finished in April. I'm really proud of what I've done, and I want to share a bit more of the process and the ideas behind it in a couple of videos over that month, so I hope you look forward to those. And if you have any questions about doing a longer term project, please let me know in the comments and I'll try to answer them in the videos maybe. Or if not, I'll get to them in the comments for sure. And then starting in June, I think I'm gonna have to go down to making one video every 2 weeks rather than one video every week. With all of my commitments and a whole lot of reflecting over the past month, I don't think it's a sustainable thing for me to do everything at the pace that I'm doing at the moment. And even though I would love to keep making longer videos every week, my initial thought is that I pare it down to making one short video a week and then one longer video every 2 weeks. So the shorter videos will be sort of mini updates on what I've been doing over the week, what drawings I've been practicing, or little pixel portrait practices where we give our characters a little backstory while I draw them, that sort of thing. And then I can make sure that I'm giving myself enough time to make the videos that I'm really proud of and can experiment more with different techniques in the videos, so I hope you look forward to that. Even though there will be less videos, I'll still be streaming once a week on Twitch. I've been doing it for a few years now. We just hit our affiliate anniversary last month as well, so it's a routine that I have definitely settled into already. And right now it's every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. in UK time. And I'd love for y'all to stop by. I'm gonna be trying to make sure to use the community posts as well to help announce when I'll be going live as well. Also, complete sidebar, I'd love to know what you think about community posts. Do you see them? I'm still trying to figure them out, but let me know in the comments how you vibe with them. Like every drawing I've done so far, I forgot to record the last bit where I add in the washi tape and a few extra shadows and details, but this is the final result. I think this is my favorite drawing in the series so far. I'm super happy with how it turned out. I really like how there's some little details for everyone's poses and just gives them a little bit of a different personality to each other. And it feels like the extra time I put into planning the piece really paid off. It really feels like I'm using the things that I've been learning over the past couple months and practicing them in these pieces, which was a big goal of mine with starting the series, and it's something that I'm really happy about that's actually happening. With that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this long, chatty video. I'd love to know what sort of activities you do that you feel like gives you energy. Let me know in the comments. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care out there. Goodbye.